4.1, degrees, radians, revolutions, magnitude versus measure, video number 1. In our new unit, we're going to start off by talking about the basics of a circle. And we have two different ways that we measure angles or units of measure in a circle. We are most familiar with degrees. That's the one that you have probably heard about the most in your growing up as far as elementary school, middle school, and even high school. How many degrees are in a circle? That would be 360 degrees. I think most of you probably know that. Another unit of measure that we can use for a circle are radians. It's kind of like how we can measure objects in inches or centimeters. We can measure angles in a circle in degrees or in radians. How many radians are in a circle? We have 2 pi radians. And what is a revolution? A revolution is 1 complete rotation, 360 degrees, or 2 pi radians of a circle. When we do a revolution in a circle, we have different directions that we could go. We can go clockwise. When we go clockwise, that is actually the negative direction. Or we can go counterclockwise, which is the positive direction. So if I'm on a circle, and we're going to learn as we go through this unit that our starting place is usually right here on the circle. And if I go clockwise, this direction here, that is considered the negative direction. And on my circle, if I start here and I travel counterclockwise, this direction, that is considered the positive direction. So let's do a little practice with revolutions. How many revolutions are in 360 degrees? Well, since a revolution is 1 complete rotation, 360 degrees divided by 1 complete rotation, which is 360 degrees, is simply 1 revolution. 720 degrees divided by 1 complete revolution of 360 is going to give me 2 revolutions. And I have 540 degrees divided by my total of 360 degrees and 1 complete revolution. And I'm going to use my calculator for that one. 540 divided by 360. And I get that that is 1.5 revolutions. Each of these was degrees. And notice I'm always dividing by 360 because there's 360 degrees in 1 complete revolution. Because 1 revolution is 360 degrees. You could set it up if you needed to as a proportion and say, so how many revolutions are in 540 degrees? So if you're not going to remember to divide by 360, you could also set up a proportion and solve that proportion by cross multiplying. It's just another way to do it. So if you ever get stuck and can't remember, well, wait, what do I do? Then always start off with 1 revolution is 360 degrees. So you have to have your revolutions in the numerator and your degrees in the denominator. Or you could have, if you had wanted to, you could have said 360 degrees is 1 revolution. Could have written it this way. Therefore, 540 degrees is how many revolutions? Again, notice anytime you set up a proportion, if the numerator is revolutions in the first fraction, the numerator is revolutions in the second fraction. If you have degrees in the denominator, you have to have degrees in the denominator. These are ways to solve to figure out the missing thing, whether it's degrees or revolutions, in case you can't remember that to figure out the number of revolutions, we simply divide by 360. Just wanted to give you another way to solve those. All right, so let's come over here to letter D, 120 degrees. How many revolutions? So I'm going to divide by 360, and I get that that's 0.3 repeating, or 1/3 of a revolution. And my last one, 75 degrees, divided by 360 degrees. I'm going to use my calculator for that one. And I get that that's 0.2083 repeating, so 0.2083 repeating revolutions. I could, if I didn't want to put that as a decimal, I want to show you how in your calculator to reduce, to convert your decimal to a fraction. Right, so I had taken 75 and divided by 360 to convert my degrees to revolutions, and that was the decimal I got. If I would like to convert that to a fraction, I go to Math, and it's already on fraction. I hit Enter, and I hit Enter, and this is going to convert my decimal answer to a fraction, 5/24. So I can say that this is 5/24 of a revolution. Okay. All right, let's go to example 2. How many degrees are in 3 revolutions clockwise? All right, well, again, there's 360 degrees in 1 revolution. And since this is clockwise, I have to remember that my answer is going to be negative. So I'm going to have negative 3 times 360 degrees. I'm going to use my calculator, negative 3 times 360, and I get negative 1,080 degrees. 1/5 of a revolution counterclockwise means this is going to be positive. So I have 1/5 times 360 degrees. I'm going to use my calculator. If I'm going to use my calculator, I should put that 1/5 in parentheses. Or simply, if I want to look at this as 360 divided by 5, I could think of it that way. All I did was multiply the numerator and the denominator, and I got 72 degrees. All right, 4.5 revolutions counterclockwise. I'm going to have a negative answer. So negative 4.5 times 360 degrees. I'm going to need my calculator for that. And I got negative 1,620 degrees. And letter D, 2/3 of a revolution clockwise. So this is going to be negative. Negative 2/3 times 360 degrees. I'm going to use my calculator, negative 2/3, and multiply that by 360, and I get negative 240 degrees. Now, again, if you're struggling with, I'm not going to remember when to multiply by 360 or when to divide by 360, again, you can use a proportion. We always know that 1 revolution is 360 degrees. Therefore, let's do letter B. 1/5 of a revolution is how many degrees? And then, again, I'm assuming you know how to solve a proportion. We do need to remember that this is going to be a negative 1/5 because, I'm sorry, actually it was not. It was not negative 1/5. In this particular problem, it was positive because we, I'm sorry, my eraser's not working very well. I forgot that that was counterclockwise, the one that was 1/5. And you would just cross multiply and solve for x, and you would get the answer that we got there, 72 degrees. It's just another way, if you forget whether you're supposed to multiply or divide, you can always set up your proportion and then cross multiply. I'll show you just one example of cross multiplying in case you forgot how to do that. 360 times 1/5 ends up giving me 72. I guess I don't need to put the degrees there yet. Equals 1 times x is just x, and I'm finished. That's all I had to do. There wasn't really a whole lot for me to do in that one, but I just, again, wanted you to see how cross multiplying works. X times 1 is x, 360 times 1/5 is 72, and then there's no more solving to be done. For example 3, we're going to answer the same type of questions, except this time we're going to answer them in radians. So how many radians are in 3 revolutions clockwise? Again, clockwise is going to be negative. So I have negative 3, because it's negative, times, in radians, a full revolution is 2 pi. So I get negative 6 pi. 1/5 of a revolution counterclockwise, that would be positive. So I have positive 1/5 times 2 pi gives me 2 pi over 5. 4.5 revolutions counterclockwise. Once again, I'm positive. So I have positive 4.5 times 2 pi is going to give me 9 pi. And 2/3 of a revolution clockwise, gotta remember that this is negative. I have negative 2/3 times 2 pi gives me negative 4 pi over 3. Again, if you forget what to do, you can always set up a proportion. We know that 1 revolution is 2 pi. Therefore, let's just do the first one, 3 revolutions clockwise, so that'd be negative 3 would be how many? I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply, and I get negative 6 pi equals x, and I'm finished. Found an example 4, how many revolutions are in 2 pi? Well, I know that I have 2 pi, and in 1 revolution is 2 pi, so that is 1 revolution. Remember when we were figuring out revolutions with degrees, we divided by 360. So with radians, we divide by 2 pi. Many students say that they think about, well, how would I do it if it was degrees? Okay, I just need to do the same thing. But rather than dividing by 360, I divide by 2 pi. Up in example 3, rather than multiplying by 360, I multiply by 2 pi. So let's see how many revolutions are in 3/4 pi. I take 3/4 pi and I divide